लाइव हो गया ना किशन?
Yeah, started.
Okay. Okay, guys. So let's start with our discussion where we left off today. We left off at uh, lookup functions because I was not able to do it. It was actually I tried it afterwards. It was actually the same thing. The lookup. It was the same function code that we were writing, but I don't know why it did not work. So yeah, so let's start with the lookup function itself and also correlation. I'll try to explain it in a better way. I was not able to explain it yesterday, and not a lot of concepts are left, so this will not be a long live session like yesterday's 1.5 hours. Okay, guys. So you're able to hear me clearly. Just write it in the chat box. We'll start with the lookup functions real quick. All right, guys. So let's start. Let me start without wasting any time. Let me just start with lookup function. So, guys, simple for lookup function. See, there are two prerequisites of lookup function. The lookup function is VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is for like vertical lookup for tables like these, where I'm going to look for values in the columns. Okay, and HLOOKUP is for rows when I want to look up for values in the rows. Okay, again there are two lookups, VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. In VLOOKUP, I'm going to see for values in the columns, and for HLOOKUP, I'm going to look up for values in the rows. So HLOOKUP is, you can just think of it like it works for the transpose of a table. So if VLOOKUP works on this table, then HLOOKUP will work for its transpose table. Okay, and transpose is nothing. Transpose is row into columns and columns into rows. So here it is. These are rows, right? Bob, Amit, Robert. These are rows. So these are columns in this table. So this table is a transpose of this table. Okay, and similarly, just like I have like and the columns of these like maths, physics, bio, these columns have now been changed into rows like name, maths, physics, bio. Okay, so yeah, this is the definition of lookup. And prerequisites to perform a lookup is that, for example, if I am looking up for a value, for example, I'm looking up lookups are used to look up for value in a table, right? So if I'm trying to look up for math score of Bob, which is 67, so if I'm trying to look up for Bob, so that Bob should appear in the leftmost column. Okay, because lookup functions can only able to look up for those values that are on the right. It will not go on the left. So just make sure that that value which you're trying to reference, that is in the leftmost column. Okay, the first condition. Second condition is that there should not be any duplicates. For example, there is Bob and there are several Bobs, then it will just take up the first Bob value and you will not get the right value for that lookup. Okay, so just these two conditions. First, it should be in the leftmost column. Secondly, there should not be any duplicates. Okay, so yeah, so let's just start with lookups now. So for lookup, simple, just type VLOOKUP. Okay, and now the lookup value. For example, I want the math score of Bob. Okay, so I will just type Bob here. Okay, the table array is actually the table that I want to look in for the value. So I'll just select this table. Okay, the whole table is selected. You just have to like move your cursor over the table, then it will be selected. Okay, and then in the this column index number, I want his maths marks, right? His maths marks, the maths mark of Bob. So the maths mark is in the second column. So I will just press 2 here. Okay, and then you press comma. There will be true approximate match and false is exact match. Almost 99% of the times you will need an exact match. So just select this, just press this down arrow. This exact match will come and just press just enter. Okay, and see, here you go. You get 67, which is the maths marks of Bob. Okay, this is how lookup works. Lookup, you the value that you want to look up for example, Bob, the table that you want to look up in. Okay, 2 is actually the column that the values that you want for that lookup. For example, for Bob, I want his math score, so I put in 2 here. All right, and then range lookup is exact. You just have to like enter the you want an exact match, so you have to just select false, press enter, and here you go. You will have this 67, which is the math score of Bob. So guys, are you able to understand it? Just tell me in the comment section, just a yes. If you're not able to understand, just press a no and anything. Okay. Just tell me in the comment section. All right, guys. I'll be going ahead with ahead decision with more discussions. So if you just have any doubt, just put it there. Okay. So yeah. So this was, for example, let me try and with another example. I see a lot of guys asking for lookups even yesterday also. So let's just see. Let's just try it out with different examples so that you get a good hold of it. For example, instead of Bob, maybe I want the marks of Robert. I just press Robert here. Okay, let me just write the whole function again. Okay, equals VLOOKUP. Okay, I want values for Robert. Okay, lookup value table array is this table here. Okay, there's another comma, column index number. I want for Robert, I don't want his mass marks, I want his bio marks. So I'll press 4 here because bio is in fourth column, right? Name, maths, physics, just third, and fourth is bio. This comma, true approximate match. You never want an approximate match, you always want an exact match. So just print this, and here you go, 36. 36 are Robert's marks in bio. Okay, guys, so I hope you are able to understand this. Okay, guys. So HLOOKUP, now we're going to talk about HLOOKUP. Like I said, HLOOKUP is similar to just like VLOOKUP. It's just that HLOOKUP can be applied on tables which are the transpose of the tables that you perform VLOOKUP on, like this table. If you transpose this, it will become this. Transpose is nothing but row into column, like Bob, Amit, Robert. These are rows. Now these are columns here, and these are columns. Name, maths, physics. These are now rows here. Okay. So HLOOKUP is just like VLOOKUP. It's just that it works on the transpose. All right. So let's just see here. Equals HLOOKUP, and in the lookup value, you can let's see, what do we want here for lookup value this time. Let's take physics marks for Amit. Okay, let's do that. So the lookup value that I want is for Amit. I want to search for Amit's marks. Table array is actually, I want this table. Let's take this. Okay. Comma, and the row index number, which row. So here you have, like, here you enter the column. Here I want the rows, and I want his physics marks, so I choose the third row. Okay, press 3 here, and then I want an exact match. Press this, you will get this 64. Okay, so let us check. Yeah, physics mark of Amit is 64. So guys, are you able to understand HLOOKUP? Just tell me in the comment section. Okay, what we did, HLOOKUP for Amit, which is here. I want to look up for Amit's physics marks. So HLOOKUP Amit, the table range that I just selected like this. All right, 3, because I want the third row value, which is physics. So I want his physics marks, which is 64, and then exact match. Let's do it using another example. HLOOKUP. All right, guys, is there any like something you want to search in this table? You can tell me in the comment section. I will write HLOOKUP for that. So you have any suggestion, anyone's marks you want, just tell me. I'll just do it using HLOOKUP. Okay, guys, so if you don't have, then I will just do it myself. Let's take physics marks for Ellie, which is 88. So simple Ellie, and table array, just go put their cursor and select this, comma, row index number is, I think I want his maths marks, right? So this should be first, and I want an exact match. And oh, something's wrong. Let me just check. Let's look up for Ali. Something going wrong again. Let me just check it again. Okay. So yeah, oh sorry, I want his. It's in the maths is in the second row, right? It's not in the first row. The first row consists of name only. I want it from the maths row, which is second. Now it's showing 23, which is again. Oh, let's just see. Let's look up. Ellie table 23 2. I want an exact match. Yeah, 88. See, now we got this 88. which are LE marks in maths. Let me write this again. I think I've messed this up. H lookup. Okay, I want LE's marks in this table from his maths marks, so second row, because maths is in second row, comma, I want an exact match. So yeah, I got this 88. So guys, tell me you're able to understand. If we want 2 marks, physics and bio. Okay, if you want 2 marks, I don't know. Let's check if I can do that. There's just one row index number. I think we can give only one. We can look up only for one value in this. So let me just see. Let me just try it out, and I'll tell you. Two, maybe you're saying physics marks also. 3, something like this. No, guys, I don't think that it will take like 2 marks. You can only look up for one value, right? You can only look up for one value. If you want LE's marks in bio, then you can do LE, this table range. Row index number is now 1, 2, 3, 4, because you want bio number, so it is in 4, comma, you want an exact match, and you'll get 94, which is this 94. You got his bio marks. Okay. So this is what you can. If you want, let me just check it in Google. Can we have lookup values? See, it's if you have ever tried to use a VLOOKUP function for 2 or more criteria columns, you have quickly discovered that it wasn't built for that purpose. Like I said, you cannot use VLOOKUP. This will also be same for HLOOKUP. So you cannot use VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP for two values. You can only do it for with one value. There's another function. There's another function for this. Like they said, there's another function that may work as an alternative. So I'll have to check that. I'll tell you in the next live session then what is that another function. Let's just stick to our agenda today. Okay, so is it clear, Rahul Yadav? We cannot use these lookup for two values. We can only use it for one value, like we just googled. Okay, guys. So this is for our lookup. We lookup and H lookup. This is it for lookups. Just tell me in the comment section if you have a doubt. So okay, so we are now gonna go on correlation, guys. The correlation is like it's is used to like check for kind of if there's a relationship exists between two variables. What kind of a relationship? That relationship is, for example, if we have two variables, those two variables can be like these two, age and glucose level. So there can be relationships like if age increases, the glucose level also increases. If age decreases, then glucose level also decreases. Or maybe they're moving in opposite directions. If age is increasing, then glucose level is decreasing. So these are kind of like relationships between these two variables, and this relationship is known as correlation. Okay, so let me show you just so this is what all correlation is. Let me just open this epic. Okay, guys, so this is a perfect positive correlation. Okay, and a perfect positive correlation has a magnitude of 1, and a high correlation will be near 1. A low positive correlation will be like this, 0.5. Okay, a low positive correlation. Okay, no correlation will be near 0. These are not exact values, like it doesn't have to be an exact value. This has to be like around this value. Okay, this has to be almost equal to this. Okay, and that x has to be almost equal to minus 0.5. Then it is low negative correlation, near minus 0.9. That high negative, -1. Then perfect negative correlation. And let me show you why when it is positive, when it is negative, x is increasing, all right, and y is increasing. Then it is positive. Okay, if x is decreasing and y is also decreasing, then also it is positive correlation. Okay, then also it is positive correlation. And negative correlation is when x is increasing, all right, and y is decreasing, or vice versa, if y is increasing, all right, and x is decreasing, these both will contribute to a negative correlation. Okay, so this is what happens if both are moving in the, just remember, if both are moving in the same direction, then it is positive correlation, all right, and if both are moving in opposite direction, then it's negative correlation. And let's say that x and y are not related at all, right, x and y, and there is no relation at all between these, then you'll get data points like this. For example, you have x on this, y on this, okay, and it will come like this cluster type. There is no correlation here, no kind of patterns that you can see, then it will have no correlation. So this is what correlation is. Now let me just show you using that Excel sheet we have. Okay, it's not closing. Yeah, okay. So here this is age and glucose level. Let me just select this, and let me just draw you, just select those two variables, those two columns, all right, that you want to check correlation for, because correlation can be checked between two variables, whether they are somehow related or not. Go to insert, all right, just select those two columns, go to insert, and here you will find these charts. Select on this chart here, click on this, you'll get this scatter chart. Just click on this. Okay, so you got this scatter chart. You can see that they are like, you can see some sort of like positive correlation like we saw here, right? Some kind of 0.9 correlation, because it is high positive correlation, not perfect. You'll hardly find some perfect positive correlation, although it is possible that you find, for example, one variable is a function of the other. For example, if fx is equals to 2y, right, then x is equals to 2y. For every increase in x, there is twice increase in y. Some kind of relation like that will have perfect positive correlation. Okay, but we don't have that in real world. In real world, it will find we will find it somewhere between low to high, between 0.5 to 0.9. So yeah, r looks somewhat similar to 0.9. If you can see here, it's like you can draw a line also here. So you will find that they are increasing. Okay, so yeah, this is positive correlation, and like I show you, this is the formula. The formula is nothing, is equals to correl, correl, simple formula, b3 to b9. This one is b3, all right, this one is b9. So for this column it is b3 to b9, array 1 and array 2, all right, list of first numbers, list of second numbers, list of numbers in first column, list of numbers in second column, b3 to b9, then c2 to c9 for this, and you select both of these, you type correl function, and you put them inside, and then you just get the value 0.84, which is almost equal like 0.85, which is near to 0.9. So you know that these are positively correlated. Now I remember, let me look for some questions. Hats off, thank you, Athankar. Can you explain basic? Athankar, I explained basic Excel operations in my previous live session. I think today is the fourth day, so you can just go from the first day to the third day. I have discussed like all the aggregation functions, all right, multiple if, nested if, all the logicals. I've discussed text functions, how we can use inbuilt AI functions of Excel for text analytics, all that I've discussed, all right, and more, a lot more than this I've discussed. So just check those live sessions out. Okay, and Rahul Yadav already explained in previous. No, I tried. I don't think I explained it well in my previous session, Rahul. That's why I'm explaining this correlation again. All right. So yeah, so this is, and someone, I think someone asked me that can we fit a trend line. So yeah, there is an option. Just click on this visual. Okay, you'll get this plus option here. Just click on this plus, let it load. Yeah, and then you can have this trend line. Just click on this, just tick this mark, tick mark this, and you will get this trend line. Okay, this is simple. So you can just have a scatter plot and have a trend line fitted to see it, how the relationship goes, and with correl you can find the actual value of the correlation. So yeah, this is it for correlation, guys. If there's any doubt, just tell me, and I'm gonna continue. All right, guys, so let's continue, and keep typing in the comment section, guys, any doubt you have, just tell me. All right, so let's go. Let me just remove this from here, or let it be. All right, so guys, now I'm going to start with as I've done with all the function and all. Let's start with this visual analytics. After this, we will discuss something about pivot tables, and then we'll go to macro, and then we'll end the session. All right, and it will be really easy, believe me. All right, guys. So, for example, I have let's these values be in millions. All right, some sale of some, for example, some shoe company, and it's sale in millions. Right. So in Mumbai in 2019, it was 49 millions. In Delhi, it was 41 millions. Lucknow, it was 98 millions. Right. This is some value, and in 2020, their sale was this. Okay. So one effective way of visualizing this will be a stacked bar chart horizontally. Okay, horizontally stacked bar chart. Let me just show you. Just select the data that you want to visualize. Okay, go to insert, go to this bar chart here. Okay, click on this, click on this 2D chart, and this here you're done. Right. 1 second. Yeah. So this is the chart for this data. Okay. And you can just make it look, or if you want some other chart, and there are different themes like this, you can choose this theme, this theme, this theme. Just click it over here, you'll find so many options. There's this theme, right? You have some sort of shadow behind it, so it's kind of like trying to make it 2D a little bit. So, and a lot of other options, if you just click here arrow, and you get so many options like this option also and all that. So let's just stick to the basic one, this one. Okay, the basic one. Okay, so this is the one that we have. I think it didn't have any labels, but this one is having the labels. Okay, so let's leave however it is. So this guy, this is our chart. Now guys, the thing is that there are a lot of unnecessary things in this chart. All right, can you tell me what's the most unnecessary element of this chart that you want to remove to make your chart like less cluttered? Can you tell me in the comment section quickly? I'll give you 20 seconds. Just tell me quickly. All right, guys. So I don't think the least important thing in this is these labels, right? These 0 to 120. These labels you don't need it. Why? Because we actually already have these values here. 49, 103, 41, 75. We already have these values. We don't need these y-axis values are not needed, right? So and it's a good practice to make your chart less cluttered, so that when you show it to stakeholders, your team, maybe the c-suite people, right? They want to look at they want to look at only the important thing in the chart. Okay, they're not interested in any other these labels and all. And these grids are also unimportant, right? You don't need these grids. These grids were important if you were going to reference the values from these y-axis, but you already have it. So grid and these labels both are not needed. Let me check in the comment section. Label of bars. No, label of bars are, see Rahul, label of bars are helping you to remove these two values from here, making it less cluttered, right? You don't someone looking at the chart will not have to focus on these bars like this edges here, so the corresponding value will be 110. You don't have to do that, right? Labels are really good for these bars. These are showing us the value. So to remove these values, I think the option can be found in the plus, right? You see these axes, just click here and the axis will be removed. No, we don't, I don't think we want to remove both the axes. I think we want to remove just one axis. Yeah, primary horizontal, I want to remove the vertical. Okay, I remove the vertical from here. And what else do we not want? We don't want the grid, so just remove the grid lines from here. Okay, and what else? No, that's now it's fine. Now it's good. We need other things. Okay, so this is how now you can make your chart less cluttered, and you can show it to whosoever wants to see it, right? If you want to present it in a presentation, you can do it. So it just has all the important things here. And if you want, you can also edit the chart title. For example, you can just do something like uh, sales, all right, and just write in $M, so that they know that it's in $1,000,000. Okay, so yeah, this is how you make a simple bar chart. Let me see in the comment section. Please use keyboard shortcuts. Ranjit, see, keyboard shortcuts, there are many keyboard shortcuts that you can find it in Google. I don't know them because I don't use, to be honest, I don't use Excel very much most of the time. Even for small data analysis, I'll jump straight to Python, all right, or Tableau or Power BI, because everything that can be done in Excel is like available in so many tools. So I don't use that much. So I don't know keyboard shortcuts, but obviously you just a Google search away, you can just search it and you can find all shortcuts for it. You can also assign shortcuts, I think, whatever shortcut you want in Excel. It must have that option. All right, guys. So this is simple bar chart. Now let me show you the 3D version of this bar chart is also available, I think. Just select this and just go to insert, and inside these charts, you can have this. You can also have this stacked bar chart. This is horizontally stacked. Okay. This is vertically stacked. Okay. This one is kind of like the height of all the bars is same. It is just showing different shares of it, right? So different percentage of shares, to be honest. And this one is 3D column. If you want to show it in 3D, you can just click on this. This is showing in a 3D manner. If you want some other version of 3D, for example, this vertically stacked 3D instead of horizontally stacked. And then you have this kind of 3D. This is also looking very good, right? This 3D you can also add. And yeah, these are different kinds of 3D. You can have this verticals also, right? You can like exchange the axes. You can have something like this also here. So these are different kinds of like charts that you can. It's just see, there are many different types of charts. Just that how much creative you are, right, and how much you can explore, right? It just depends on that. Otherwise, this is just point and click, simple point and click, and nothing. And you can just customize it from here, whichever axes you want. You want the axis titles or not, all right? You want the grid lines or not? Okay, just simple. Right, guys. So are you? I hope you were able to understand it. Okay. Now let's move to yeah. Let me just remove this from here. You can just select on that chart and press the delete button on your keyboard. You were asking about shortcuts, right? So you can just select it and press delete and it will be deleted. Now this one, guys, this table actually for this, you see on the day one, some temperature is 45 degrees Celsius. For day two, it is 47. Right. For day five, it is 55. For day nine, it is 62. So forth and so on. So all you have to do is just select this table. This is a can someone tell me what kind of chart do I need to use for this data? Different days and temperature. Let me give you a hint that there's like one very fundamental chart that we always use when we deal with some kind of time series. Some kind of time series, some kind of data which includes dates, right? Dates as a column. Now tell me what chart do I use? You would have seen it so many times, I'm sure. No, Rajni, not bar. Bars will be like for time, there will be so many bars, right? For 10 days, it will 10 bars, for example. If you have 365 days, you don't want 365. Yeah, Rahul is right. Line chart. Okay, so for trend, let me just show you how we can bring that line chart here. I think this one. Yeah, right. So see this is a simple line chart that you can have. For example, for every day, as the days are changing, this is the temperature. We can see the temperature rising, right? Day one, it was around 40 to 50. Again, you can just go here and see the data labels here, right? On day one, it was 45. On day 10, it is 62.7. You can see that it is increasing day by day. So yeah, so this is the line chart. It is very useful if you're trying to show some kind of trend. For example, how your company is like, how much it is profiting every year, like the sales, the volume of sales every year, the quantity that you are selling over the years, right? You can easily do it using this line chart. So this is good for you if you want to do any sort of trend analysis. Then the line chart is the fundamental and the first chart that you can do. And then there are also some other, the advanced version of line charts can be like stacked charts where you have some sort of area and then you can have multiple areas inside it also. There's some advanced, but just start with this line chart whenever you have some kind of trend analysis. All right, guys. So this was it for the line chart. Let's go to another chart now. And yes, again, there are different types that you can try. This, different formatting. Just here, all that this is that this is your creativity, right? What kind of formatting that you want to do? I'll leave that up to you. So yeah, so let's just. All right, guys. So one more important chart that I'm going to show you is distribution chart, which is like histogram. Okay, which will show you the distribution of a value. For example, let me take, this is really less values. I want a table with large values. So 44 values, right? Okay, so let's just make a distribution for the units column. Okay, just select this and don't select the header, please. Select only the numerical values and go to insert. Select the column with all the numerical values and don't select the column header, please. And go to this. I think this is histogram, right? And then just build this. Okay, so this is your, just make it bigger. Okay, so this is your histogram. You can choose different sorts of histogram here. Okay, let me just choose this. So this is your histogram. This shows the distribution of values that you have. So we can see that this is like in this right skewed kind of distribution. Okay, because we can see values going till 122, near 92 to 122. This is the interval for this specific histogram bar. But this is not a bar chart. Please don't forget that bar chart and histograms are different, right? One very simple visual difference is that bar charts are separate, whereas histograms are like stick together. But this is not the difference that you want to tell to an interviewer. Just tell him that bar chart, there are two variables involved in bar chart, like we had in this one. I think where it is, uh bars. For example, for this one, let me just draw this bar chart again to show you the difference. Insert, uh, so yeah, so this one was bar chart. You have two variables. You have the sales number, which is this, all right, and you have this variable. You have Mumbai, Delhi. This is categorical variable. This is continuous variable. So bar chart you can use when one is categorical variable and one is numerical variable, right? For two variables you can use this bar chart. Okay, and when you have just when we want to analyze just one variable, like the distribution of this variables, what sort of values do this distribution has, is it normally distributed or not, then you can use a histogram. And you can see this is right skewed. Right skewed means it has a lot of large values. Left skewed means if this was something like this, right? Let me just use this pen again here. This, if you had a distribution like this distribution is, if you just can just draw, right, you can find some distribution. This is right skewed distribution, and if this distribution would have been like this, right, then this would have been a, 1 second, this was something like this, then this was left skewed distribution, because a lot of its values are lying at extreme values of left. And what is this? This is actually looks something like this, where a lot of values are left also. Just don't ignore this, right? It has a lot of values at its right, at extreme corner of its right. Okay, so this is what histogram is. All right, this is you can see what is the distribution of values here using a histogram. Just tell me, are you able to understand what histogram is, right, guys? Just tell me in the comment section if you're able to understand what this histogram is and what it is used for, and how it is different from bar chart. Bar chart you can use like two variables. Histogram is used for one variable, because obviously you want to analyze that variable, what are the different ranges of its value. All right, you can tell that using a histogram. Okay, guys, so yeah, this was it for histogram. And let me just delete this. All right, guys, this was for histogram. So we're done with histograms, we're done with bars. Any other kind of chart that you want me to take up, guys? Tell me in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll move ahead. Insert and some chart. Yeah, so this was it for the chart size. So let's move to, I think, pivot tables. Okay, let's move to the pivot table. Let me just show you how to make a pivot table first. So let's use this data itself. All right, guys. So to make a pivot table, you just select this cell here. Just select this whole table onto what you want to make a pivot table. Just select it. Just select it till here. All right. And after selecting this, the whole table that you want to make in a pivot table, just go to this, I think, yeah, this insert. Go to the insert ribbon and click on this pivot table. Select the table that you want to see in the pivot table. Select the data that you want to see in the pivot table. Right, go to insert ribbon and press on this pivot table. This will pop up. Now it is telling us to select a table or range. We have already selected that, which is table 1. You can see the borders around it highlighted. Another option is use an external data source. Now you can choose this if you have some sort of like some external data source, some other table, some other data that you want to see in your pivot table, then you can choose it from here. We will just stick to this because we want to visualize this table in a pivot table. Okay, and you can do it in an existing worksheet, and the pivot table will be made here. But just for the sake of clarity, now I'll use this new worksheet. That's okay. And yeah, here we go. This is, let me just hide this. Okay, so yeah, so this is a pivot table, and this is how you can create a pivot table from here. Okay guys, so there are 4 sections. First is filter. So filter is, for example, you have a data where you have the sales of your company in central region and sales of a company in east region. So using filters, you can just kind of control that. If you want to see only the central region sales, you can select it from the filter. It will filter the data out and it will show you only the central sales. If you want to see only the east sales, then you can filter the data out and select east, and it will show you only the sales in east region of your company. Okay, and rows and columns are simple. The values that you want to see in rows, the value that you want to see in columns, the value that you want to see in rows. And then for values is the values that you want to see inside those cells. Now let me show you using an example. Let me see the comment section. Pie. Rahul, pie chart is also very easy. Now let me finish this pivot table. Then I will just quickly show you how that pie chart will look. It's just simple, just point and click. Okay. So guys, let me just drag inside the rows. I want to see the representative names. Just click on this value here, click on this, and just drag it to the rows. All you have to do is just pick it up from here, click on it, and just drag it to the rows, right? And see, all the rows are made here with the representative names. Now what do I want in columns? In columns, I want the items. So I'll just pick it up from here and I'll drag it using the mouse here. All right, so I have all the columns here. Now what do I want to see in values? I want to see how many units these representatives sold with respect to every item. What do I want? I want to see the units these representatives sold, right, for each of these items. Items are binder, dash, pen, and so on. So I'll just drag this units to values. So yeah, this is showing me actually, and you can see sum of units. Okay, so this is actually aggregating that unit into a sum. So the Andrews sold 28 binders, right? Sum of units is 28. So he sold total of 28 binders. Desk, pen set, these all are 0. So they are blank. As they are 0, so they're blank. Okay. He didn't sell that, so it was actually a null. Andrews didn't sell any of the desks. He only sold binder and pencils. So we have values here, but we don't have anything for pen and pen set because he didn't sell these. Okay, so they are null, or you can just take it as 0. So yeah, and Gill sold 126 binders. All right, Thompson sold 57 of binders. So this is just sum, and you can just and you can also control the aggregation from here inside value field settings. You can just control it. Okay, and this is the values of how many units they sold. Each one, how many units they sold of these, binder and all these items. Are you able to understand it, guys? How to make a pivot table? Simple. Yeah, Rahul. For pivot table, select the headers, because if you don't select the headers, then it will give you the first value of all the columns here. If you don't select the headers, you have to select the headers so that you will be able to take it and drag it here. Okay. All right, guys, are you able to understand? Just tell me pivot tables and just ask your doubts here. So this is how we make a simple pivot table. Okay. Now, as I told you, this is the sum of units. For example, your question is not how much they sold. You want to see how much they sold on average. So you can just go here, go to value field settings, and here you find a range of values. You can see variance of how much they sold. All right, standard deviation, count numbers. You can see product. You can see minimum of what they sold, maximum of what they sold, average of what they sold, count of what they sold, and sum of what they sold, which is by default sum is selected. We are going to choose average. Click on average, click OK, and here you go. It is now showing the average of all these items that these representatives sold. Okay, so this is how you use field value settings. You can also choose other aggregation, for example, maximum what they sold. This is the maximum of all the all the orders, all the invoices they make by selling. This is the maximum number of what they sold in that particular transaction. Okay, this is the maximum they sold. So yeah, these are different kind of let me just keep it to average so that it makes sense here in this with respect to this scenario. So this is the average of units these people sold. Now coming to the filters. Okay, coming to the filters, I am going to filter it by region. Again, just click on this, drag it over the filters, and here you go, you have the filters here. Now to filter, you can just click here. Okay, and this has central, east, west. What you have to do, let me just do this. Okay, now click on select multiple items and it will come like a box. Okay, guys, so now I want to see how much they sold only in the central region. Okay, so I will select central from here. I click OK, and it is showing me only in the central region how many people first of all were involved in the central region and how many they sold in the central region. So this is what you get. Okay, now let me choose. I don't want the central. I want east. How much or how much they sold in the west. Let me just remove east. How much they sold in the west? Click OK. And in the west, only Sorbino and Thompson were involved in the west region, and they sold these many units with respect to these many different items. Okay. So this is how filters works. And you can also select, for example, I only want for east and west. You can do this. Click OK, and you will have for east and west. This is all that was sold. So guys, are you able to understand how filters work here? Just tell me in the comment section. All right, guys. So this is a filter for, and one more thing is that, for example, you don't want your filter to look like this. You want your filter to look more interactive. You want your filter to like be in another table kind of a structure, right? So what you can do is, let me just remove the filters from here. Let me just remove the filter, and let me just choose. Let me see where it was. I think I've forgotten. And just hold on for a second, guys. Just let me see if I can find it. Insert. Yeah. So just go to the insert tab, okay, and choose slicer from here. Okay, you'll get this slicer, and just choose all the columns that you want to filter out. Not the total, not this, not this. I want only for these. Okay, no, I don't. I want it only for the region because you are filtering out on region. Okay, so I want a floating filter. Just call it a floating filter over region only. Click OK, and here you have this. So this is a kind of a floating filter that you have. Now if you select east from here, it will give you the east. If you select central, it will give you the central sales. West, it will give you a west sales. So this is more this looks more better and more interactive than the normal filter that we had. It was like fixed here, all right, and you have to select it every time. And here it is more interactive. It can also float here and there, so you can just have a table here and you can just click and you can just place your slicer wherever you want. We call this a slicer, this floating filter thing. We call this slicer, and you can just select whichever cells you want and just deselect all if you don't want, and if you want all the values. Let me see. clear filter. Yes, just clear filter, you get all the values. If you click on anyone, it will start selecting that one. And if you want all the values, just click on this and it will show you all the values. Okay, guys. So I hope you were able to understand how to work with slicers in your pivot charts. Okay. So yeah, this was it for the pivot tables. Guys, are you able to understand the pivot tables? Just tell me. Give me a yes or a Y in the comment section. Right, I hope that you would have understood this, how to work with these pivot tables. Okay, if not, tell me in the comment section. All right, guys, so this was for the pivot tables. And like Rahul said that he wanted, Rahul sir is saying that he wants to get slices. See, I showed you to get a slicer, just click on insert. Okay, after clicking on insert, you can find this slicer here. This slicer, just click on this slicer and this will appear. Let me just show you again. Let me just delete it from here and then I'll show you. Okay. Just press Control Z central several times so that I can just show you how I got that slicer. Okay, so yeah, you want that slicer, go to insert. Okay, click on insert, then click on the slicer here. Okay, this option inside insert at the right, click on it. You'll get so many options. So what column do you want? Like I want to segregate, I want to filter out this table with respect to region. So I will click on region. If for example you want to segregate this table with respect to representative names, then you can select representative instead of region. You also keep two, all right, but for simplicity purposes we will keep only one here. You can also, you know, kind of filter out the data based on items also. So these are different kind of options. Different, it will this slicer option will show you all the columns that you want to filter out the data in. So I will just keep it to region. Okay, click OK, and here the slicer will come. And here you can choose whatever slicer you want. We can choose central, show you central, east, west, will show you for that respective region. And to clear it out, just press this filter cross, clear filter. When you hover the mouse, you will see this tooltip, clear filter. Click on this, you will clear out the filter and you will get all the data points. Rahul, are you able to understand it? I just explained again how to get a slicer. Okay, guys, so this is how you, you know, work with pivot tables. And there are so many things that you can do with pivot table. You can choose different kind of aggregation. Now, I don't have that data right now. It is just simple data, but there is like so many kind of aggregations that you can put for different columns, you know, get different kind of insights, draw different kind of charts. So you can do all that, and you can have these slices to, you know, filter out data and get the values. Okay, so this is your pivot table. So I hope so now we're done with the pivot table, guys. Just tell in the comment section, Rahul, if you're able to understand it. Yes, okay. Okay, thanks, Rahul. So okay, so now we're going to move to the last thing for today. Let me just see. Are we left with everything or we have done everything? 2, 3, 4, 5, string, lookups. Yeah, okay. So guys, the last thing is macro. Well, let me just tell you what macro is. All right, what we're going to cover in macro and what we're not going to cover. See, macro is very easy, extremely easy. When you are recording a macro, is just 1 minute work. Okay, and in a macro is used when you want to automate your tasks. For example, if I'm like color coding this column, all right, maybe changing some formatting of this column, all right, maybe rounding off this column, right, doing some kind of fixed operations on fixed columns. And for example, you have to do this task every day. Okay, every day some new data comes, you apply that same kind of formatting and everything onto different columns, and you do that every day. Now not doing that every day is kind of like very boring and it's very redundant, right? And you want a solution for that. So what you do is you actually record a macro. Now what is recording a macro? In recording a macro, you apply those functions just one time. Okay, that macro is recorded for that data, for that specific data, and then Excel performs that macro on all the other data that you give it in the future. For example, if I color this import industry column, I do some kind of a color formatting over this column, all right, and I record a macro. I record a macro of me performing these formatting over these columns, and next time when I apply that macro over other data, which my Excel has never seen, it will be successfully able to format that data too, based on the kind of formatting that I did in this. I will show you using an example. I will not be able to tell you that clearly verbally. I'll show you using an example and you'll understand what is this macro. Now, coming to VBA, see, when you record a macro, Excel writes a set of, programming which performs the macro for all the other data. Now, the thing is that you can learn that VBA, all right? Lots of people learn it also, but I will not recommend you learning VBA because believe me, 90 to 95% of the time you will not be working on VBA, right? Many less organization work on Excel if they do, right? If they do it only for the beginner to intermediate work, like I've shown you using these different sessions, this is what you will be asked in interview, unless leaving like 5% of the jobs where they will need you to know VBA really, really well. But I will not be covering all that because it is not used in most of the cases. It will not be used, that VBA programming, and you don't have to know it. And even see, even if your job requires, let's say your job requires VBA, I will not ask you to learn it beforehand. Just learn it on the job, right? Learn, search over Google, search over Stack Overflow, pick up the code, understand the code, all right, and just perform the VBA whatever is needed, and nothing more will be needed. Okay, nothing more high tech knowledge in VBA will get you anywhere. It's not like that. VBA is not used. Instead, I would recommend, if you really want to learn some programming, go to Python, go to R. Okay, so yeah, so let me just show you how to do a macro. Okay, let me just set up. uh, Guys, I hope you have the link of this Excel sheet. Okay, hope you have the link of this Excel sheet. It must be in the description, I think. Okay, so let me just, to perform a macro, see, first of all, just click on this developer tab over the ribbons. Okay, and see, working for the first time, I don't think you will have this developer tab available. So just go over this file, click on the file, right? These many ribbons, just click on file. You will not have developer option right now, don't worry. Click on file. Okay, then come down and click on options. All right, this will open. Click on customize ribbon. All right, and then click on, have a tick mark on this developer. Now I already did that, so it already has it. All right, it will be like this in your PC, in your Excel version. Just click on this. All right, I click OK, and developer tab will be made available. All right, and when you click OK, you will have this developer ribbon here. So now when you have this developer version, just click over here, which is record a macro. Just click on this record macro. Just guys, tell me, you have no difficulty in enabling the developer tab. Just tell me so that I can continue forward with recording macro, so you can do it with me. Guys, quickly. So I will assume that you have the developer tab. Okay, so yeah, so after enabling this developer tab, just click on this record macro. Right now it will ask you for a macro name. I will name it tutorial. Okay, tutorial. Yeah, click OK. As soon as you click OK, all right, it will start recording. So click OK. It has started recording. See, you can see stop recording option here. So for example, I want to format this column. So I will just click on this. I will click on home, apply some kind of formatting. Import is bad, right? Industries is neutral, and export is good. All right, and I will select this formatting, this whole formatting here should happen. And maybe I want to do some sort of formatting over here. For example, I select these three columns and I format them as a table over here. Format these as a table, right? and I want, and these are the sets of operations. For example, these are you can have n number of operations, right, depending on your work. So I've just showed you, for example, I have these two types of operations where I color code this column and I make these three columns into a table. And for example, I delete this column. I'm not interested in this column, so I delete this column every time the data comes to me. I delete the entire column. I deleted that column. I delete this column. I do this work on a daily basis. So now it is done. I'll go to developer tab. I'll click stop recording. Okay. So I have stop recording. So what this recorded macro will do, every time I put up a new data here, okay, this will apply this same formatting, all right, changing these three columns, deleting that column that I deleted. It will do that thing again on the new data. Okay. So this is what a macro does. Now let me just show you. Now to perform a macro, you need a button. All right, and inside that button you will put the VBA, you will put that macro function inside that button. So to put a button, just go to the developer tab, developer ribbon. All right, click on insert. Insert, you will have something known as form control. So under there are two button options, form controls and active X controls. If you select this active X control button, then you will have to like assign the VBA code of that macro inside that button. Instead, what you can use is that you can use the button under the form controls tab. Click on this and this will be way more easier. I will show you. Just drag whatever size button you want. I want this button and I will click, I will take macro one. Okay, macro tutorial. All right, and what macro do I, what macro recording do I want to assign this button, so that on clicking this button that macro will be applied, that tutorial, because remember we named that macro tutorial only. So I'll just click on this tutorial and click OK. So this button, on clicking this button, this thing that I have performed will be performed again. Okay, so let me just rename this button. I'll do this run macro. All right, press enter. So on clicking this button, this formatting will be performed. So now the thing is that I have already performed some sort of formatting over this data. So I'll just delete this data and put some kind of new data over it. Okay, so that thing is performed. Just delete this. This is not moving it. All right, so let me just select some new data first to perform the macro. Where it was, yes, it was this, right? Just take this from here, Control C it over here, and I will put it over here. I hope I've done it onto the same column, otherwise this macro will not run. It is not running. 1 second, guys, let me just, I know what mistake I've made. Let me just this again. Guys, let me just, I will have to make the macro again over another page because I just messed something up. Okay, I'll perform that same macro over another sheet. We will record one more macro. We will do it. The sheet 5. Let me just see, macro is very cell and column sensitive. So if you change the cell and column later on, it will give you trouble. This width not changing. Let it be. This width is not changing. I don't know why. Changes from here. Yes, it changed from. Okay. So as we have now, let's apply macro again. Okay. Let's record that whole macro again. I accidentally did something wrong there. So record macro. Okay. I'll name this macro 2 only. Okay. I'll name this macro 2. What I want to color code this. I want industries to be in bad. This import to be this, export to be good. All right. Bad. This to be like. Right. So I do this kind of formatting, and I also change a few things. For example, I delete this column. Okay. I delete this column, entire column. Okay. And then this is what these are the changes that I do every day. And then I go and do the stop recording. Okay. And let me just change this. This is the normal data that I just imported. Now, when I go over to the, 1 second, let this go. When in the developer tab, I've already recorded the macro. Now what I will do, I will go to insert, right? Under form controls, I'll go to this button over here. I'll have that button over here. And this button is run macro. I'll name this run macro, and I will assign the macro 2 recording to it, because that is the formatting that I want to do over this. I'll press OK. Okay, and now this is the button that will, and on clicking this button, this will be applied to this new data. See, as soon as I press this button, that macro that has been recorded is now done to this data. I deleted that column has been deleted. All right, that formatting that I did on the first 5 column has now been done. And this macro that I've recorded, that I've assigned to this button, every time you put a new data and you press this button, all right, that formatting will automatically be applied over that new data also. So this is how you use a macro. Okay, this is how you automate your work actually. So this is very useful if you do the same kind of editing and formatting on a daily basis. All right, you doing rounding functions and all sorts of different functions, all sorts of different operations that you apply on Excel, right? And if it's same throughout, if it is same every day new data is coming and you are performing those operations, if you use a macro and you use this button, you create a sort of a button and you assign it that macro, that recorded macro, then it will be applied on new data every day and your work will be automated. So this is very useful for people. I don't think that this happens a lot nowadays with programming into the picture, but before, people, it was a really useful tool before, so that the work could be automated. And this also is used in nowadays also. If you have some small data coming in every day and you do same set of things every day, then this is really useful. So yeah, guys, this was it for macro today. Okay, so I hope you were able to understand this macro. Okay, so just tell me in the comment section if you guys have any doubts regarding macro. If you're not able to get the developer, see, it's simple. Just get the data, all right, record a macro, record yourself doing all those different operations that you every day do on your data, record it, all right, stop the recording, go to this insert tab, pick a button from here, all right, and as soon as you pick a button, you will get different options of which macro recording you want to assign that button to, so that on clicking that button, that type of formatting will happen on the data. Select it, all right, then click on this button. If you want to rename this button, there's also an option to renaming. Just click on this and you will rename on it, you will rename this button, all right, and then just click on this button and that formatting will be applied on every new data that comes. Okay, guys, so this was it for today's session, guys, and we are done with Excel today. We have covered everything from aggregation to text functions to logical functions to visual analytics to correlation to macros and everything, and error handling and everything. Almost everything is covered. Even macro, how to record a macro is just 1 minute work. This is so simple, recording a macro and everything. Okay. So this was it for Excel tutorial, guys. I know it was like people who know programming, this is like just a piece of cake for them, because it really is. Excel has nothing much to offer actually, right? So yeah, this was it for today's session, guys. I hope you guys would have understood it. Okay, guys. So this was it. So yeah, we'll meet at our next session. which will be, I think, maybe SQL or statistics. That will be our next session. Okay, guys. So, okay, bye bye. I hope you don't have any doubts. Okay, bye bye, guys. Then.